Hey there, everybody. Scott here from the Gray House Literary Agency. I wanted to take some time today to talk about things that I've been seeing lately. Um, and this is really coming from a lot of different workshops I've been teaching, different conferences I've been going to, and even seeing advertisements for other conferences and workshops and all of these other types of things. And it's really this big push that I'm seeing a lot of authors doing where they're saying, I'm going to go self publish. Self publishing is the way to go. And they're pushing themselves towards self publishing, how to do it all themselves. And it's one of those areas I'm not against self publishing, so I want you to be really clear on that. What I do want to stress, however, is that I think that there's a lot of people out there jumping into self publishing for completely the wrong reasons. And I don't want to see people getting frustrated with the system, um, disappointed in their lack of success as being an author out there. I want people to write, I want people to publish books. But maybe self publishing isn't the right direction. So I want to take some time to kind of talk through this here. So, what are the two big things that I'm hearing people saying about why they're going to self publishing? Number one, they can't sell their books normally. Okay. So I'm going to mention these two first, then we're going to go there. Can't sell your books normally, and there's the belief that I can make more money. I don't have to give my money to other people. Okay, so let's talk about those two things. Number one, they can't sell their books normally, that they've tried the traditional way, that they've sent out manuscripts and they don't get it. Why? Nobody's buying their book. That's a big thing. Okay, but that doesn't mean that self-publishing is the better way to go. What you have to do is look at what the underlying problem is. I had the opportunity to work with some students once before on a program called Future Problem Solving, and if you're familiar with this, it's a nationwide program where kids get together and they're given a situation and they have to figure out some solutions to how to fix the problem. And the number one thing is, what is the underlying problem? What's the big thing that's causing all of this to happen? So when you have people who are saying, I can't sell my books normally, I've tried the traditional route and the system is against me. Let's take a look at some of those underlying problems. Okay? Number one, this is what I'm seeing on a regular basis, and this is coming from talking to these people when I meet with them at a conference. They haven't done their market research. That they've sat down and they have written their story of their heart, right? This is my story. I really want to tell this story. I recently met with an author at a conference, and I said, well, why'd you pick this story? And he goes, well, the concept just sort of came to me one day. Okay. Have you really thought it through? Do you know anything about this? Have you read in this genre? Now, there's a couple different things here. Number one, he goes, I don't really read much. Okay, there was a problem right there. He goes, I just don't read much. But then the second part was he didn't even know where this story was going to. The reality was, the concept alone, there isn't a market out there that would have taken this particular book. Not anything. Even honestly, even if he went into the self-publishing market, nobody would buy this book. Maybe his friends would. Maybe. So you don't do your market research. They haven't gone out to say, is this product that I am wanting to sell marketable? Remember, when you go in and you shift from being a hobby writer to a writer that wants to get published, that means you're going into a business. You are selling a product. Okay? And you have to ask yourself, is this a product people will want to buy? One of my favorite bad habits, well, not bad habits, but a I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I love watching Shark Tank. I love watching it. Yeah, it's goofy. I get it. But I love watching it, and I love watching it when they turn around and you watch these people get rejected. And they're saying, nobody wants your product. Have you gone out to see if there's anybody who would even want to buy this product? And when all the sharks turn around and they pass on it, and then they come walking down that aisle again, it's amazing how after they've been told nobody wants to buy this product, you hear this person go, yeah, I'll prove them wrong. That's what we're talking about right there. Is this a product that will sell? Are people truthfully interested in this? And I'm not talking about a few people. When we're talking selling a product, we're talking more than just your beta readers. We're talking thousands of people, thousands, to be able to make any money off of this. So that's the first part, right? People haven't done that market research. They haven't done the market research to see which editors and agents actually want the product. Because guess what? Maybe they're getting rejected because they're sending it to the wrong person, which could clearly be the case. So you don't want to fall into that trap. The next reason why it might not be selling is that they don't have any knowledge of the publishing world. They don't really know how you navigate this system. Their belief is simply, I bought this, I write this book, I type the end, and then I get out online, I go over to Query Manager or Query Tracker, and I start at the A's and I just start sending it out to every single person. It is amazing how when I sit down and read submissions, that over half, every single time I sit down and I'll read them in blocks, over half of those are genres I don't represent, or people who are saying, Dear Mr. Greyhouse, which, by the way, that's not my name, which tells you they didn't do their research, right? Dear Mr. Greyhouse, I want you to publish my book. Not realizing that an agent isn't the publisher. So that becomes one of those big issues. They don't have a knowledge of the publishing world. The last piece of this is that they don't know how to write. Now, that's going to sound really harsh, and I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but there are a lot of authors out there who really do not understand the craft of writing. And this is where we really start to even separate people. There are some people out there who have an inherent ability to just write. They are the natural storytellers out there, that they could sit down at that computer and the perfect words sort of fall out on the page for them. They understand it. There's other people who you're going to have to work at this. And that's where really the majority of the people are out there. They're the people who have to work at it. They have to learn this as a craft. This is a business again. So I'm going to go back to the whole business piece. It is a business, which means that it's a profession. Okay, maybe think about this as a profession. When you want to go into a particular profession, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a teacher, whatever that might be. Do you just open up your business, or do you learn the craft and you practice it until you get good? Right? People don't just turn around, watch Grey's Anatomy and go, I'm going to be a doctor. I can do this. No, people don't do that. And frankly, I wouldn't want to go to that doctor who did that. And you wouldn't either, right? So I want you to think about that. You have to learn that craft. You have to learn how stories fit together, why characters act the way that they do, how to craft those characters into three-dimensional beings, how to use different plot devices and knowing when to use those plot devices, right? We don't use them all the time. We don't just sit there and go, oh, time to put a prologue in. Why'd you want to put a prologue in? Because you always do. Nope. Does your story need it? And that's what those writers who have the inherent ability, they already know that. They can sit down and go, I think this story needs one. Nope, this story doesn't need one. They're the ones who know, I think I'm going to start this chapter off with the heroine's point of view. They just know that it has to happen there. There's not a pattern to it. And you have to learn that craft. And that takes time. Okay? If you're somebody who has just sort of been dabbling and writing and whatever it is, it's just going to take some time to learn that. So, let's talk about the second problem. The second problem was the belief that we're going to make more money out of this thing. And you hear people talk all the time about all the money that they're making in self-publishing. What you are missing here is that you personally now have to pay for the cover artist. You have to pay for the editor, the developmental editor who's going to go through and look at your work. I just attended a conference, and these developmental editors are charging anywhere between $800 to $1,600 to developmentally edit your book. That's $1,600. So if you had somebody who copy edited, maybe somebody who did the developmental editing, $800 a piece. That's $1,600. That's $1,600 off of your profits. You got to pay for the cover artist. You got to pay for all of that material. You two do all the labor. You're the one who takes care of all the copyright stuff. You're the one who files all the licensing things. You're the one who does it all. You got to make a lot of money off of that. Now, the other thing to remember is that a lot of the people who you see maybe doing well in self-publishing, they're doing well because they're taking all of what we call their backlist, the books that they've written a while ago, got their rights back to them, and then they just reproduced them, reformatted them, and put them back out again. They already have a following. If you're a brand new person, you don't have that following. Okay? So can you make money self-publishing? Yes, and there are a ton of people out there who do that. So I'm not saying self-publishing is the wrong way to go. There are people who make money with self-publishing. But are you all going to do that? Probably not. Here's the other reason on this one, and it's think about competition. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to get on your favorite online book buying site, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, whatever that might be. And I want you to go to, I'm going to use Amazon. Go to Amazon, go to the ebook section, because that's always a good place to start. Go to the ebook section, find your genre that you write in. Okay? Then, when you sit there and you can do the filters and shift the filters from low to high. In other words, the lowest priced one to the highest priced one. And I can guarantee you will sit there for easily an hour with everybody giving away a book for $0. $0. And they're doing this because they know if I put it out there for $0, people might buy it. I'm telling you, you're going to look for over an hour getting everybody doing that. That's just $0. And you're the person who wants to sell your book for $9.99, $15.99, whatever that might be. Are you going to be noticed? Maybe not. So let's talk about the solutions, right? Let's talk about how we fix this problem. If you're somebody who wants to go from hobby writer to published author, here are some steps. Number one, time. It's going to take you some time to do this. This is not a rush process. I don't want to hear you say, but I just don't have the time to sit down and research this. If you say that, you're not going to go anywhere. Number one, use that time and say, I have to learn the craft. That means you're going to practice. That means you're going to attend conferences and workshops taught by quality people. And I cannot stress that one enough. Quality. People who have been very successful. Not what they claim, right? I recently saw a conference and they're bringing in this person about how to become successful in writing, taught by fill in the blank, who's a successful published author. This person has only self-published a few books, and they're making their success is coming from running around teaching this workshop, telling everybody how successful they are. This person's a great person. I've met this person before. Totally nice person. person does not understand the craft of writing, but is out there teaching it. And people go to the workshop and they go, oh, I was so excited about this. That's great, but was that material you can learn? Was that material useful to you? So take the time to learn the craft. Study from the people who know what they're doing. Okay? We're talking about the people who have been successful over years, not just in the last 4 years or 3 years. Learn the business. Take the time to study the process of how a book goes through this system. Learn about how long it takes for when that book is contracted to the point that that book goes to a bookshelf. I'm going to give you a good example. At the time of taping this, okay, 2 weeks ago, probably. Yeah, I want to say about 2 weeks ago, I had an author. We sold a book, 4-book deal. Not a bad deal. It was perfect. 4 books. We take this 4-book deal. That was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, they did that. Took another week to get what we call the deal memo out that comes to me where I look at it and evaluate it and go, yeah, this works. Then it goes back to them and then it goes to the contract department. That was 2 weeks ago. It's still in the contract phase before it gets to us. Now, the first book out of this series was written, the first out of the 4 books that we've got in this deal here, the first book was finished 4 months ago. That meant that this person has been writing for some time, has gotten that book ready, we got it out, we got it sold, we got the 4-book deal. That's where we're at. Once that book gets into the pipeline, now it goes to the editor reviews it, the editor makes the notes, the editor sends it back, then the writer fixes it, then it goes back again, then it moves from the business department, the marketing department, and all of those. You're looking at least a year out. 1 year. That's what we mean by know the business. Understand how that all works. Know how much money you're really going to make. I had a person, and I always love this because right before I go to any workshop, I always have at least one person who gives me the perfect example of, oh, don't ever do this. This person wrote to me and said, I've got this is my debut novel, and I want you to publish it for me. There was the first mistake. And I want you to publish this book for me, and I want no less than 6 figures just for this book alone. And then you're going to sell it internationally, and I want another 6 figures for an international book sale. Debut novel. This book was 350,000 words. Normal book length, mass market book length, 75 to 110,000. Doesn't know the business. Number 2, I want you to study. I want you to start reading books that are successful. Read them, look at the reviews, read them, and try to figure out what it is that that author is doing to make that book work so well. Don't read for pleasure. You're reading to dissect that novel, to understand that novel, to figure it all out. You're going to have to take some time to research. If you know that you want to write for, say, Simon & Schuster with one particular line with Simon & Schuster, I want you to read every single book that Simon & Schuster puts out. Learn their voice. Study it. And the last one is I want you to join a quality writing organization. Quality is the big thing. And we're talking national level. You write mysteries? Join Mystery Writers of America. You do romance? Join Romance Writers of America. Join Novelist Inc. I don't care. Join a national organization that is big enough that brings in the professionals that teaches you the quality things. Your local writing group, the one that you go to at the library like every month, they're great. They're a great group of friends. Not going to knock them. They got you started. But that's not going to get you to learn anything. The key thing here in this last 30 seconds is don't rush it. Please don't rush. You have more than enough time to learn this if you want to be successful. As always, here's what I want you to do. If you are interested in any more information from me, make sure that you head over to my website. That's thegrayhouseagency.com. Go to that website. Go on over. Off of there, you can go to my blog site. If you're part of a writing chapter, you want me to come and talk to you, please definitely have somebody, have your chapter president, have your conference coordinator email me, let me know, and I'm more than happy to help out. I wish you all the success out there with your writing. Please keep it up. It's a great profession to be in. But again, you got to learn it. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.